Exactly 50 days ago, the fire and explosion destroyed that rig out there in the Gulf. Tonight, 5 survivors are speaking out about what they heard and what they say they saw leading up to the disaster. You're going to learn of an argument 2 of them say they saw the morning of the disaster between a BP executive and a Transocean official, an argument over how to proceed with the drilling, a significant moment possibly central to a criminal case against BP. It's an exclusive interview, a partnership between the CNN Special Investigations Unit and our program. And if you're saying they're cutting corners, what would their motivation be?
To finish the job faster, to save money.
And you think that's what this is about? It was about saving time, saving money?
Well, yes. They're over budget on it. So yeah, they were cutting corners for time and money.
2 of the men who survived the BP oil rig fire and collapse are trying to explain an argument they say they witnessed on the platform about 12 hours before the first explosion. It was an argument, they say, between Transocean and BP managers.
The meeting was a pre-tower meeting. Basically, they go over the day's events, what's going to be taking place on the drill floor. And while he was giving it, the company man basically jumped up and says, no, we got some changes.
The company man is from BP?
Yes.
The driller was Transocean?
Driller's Transocean, yes. And company man basically said, we have some changes to that. We're going to be doing something different. I recall it was something about displacing the riser with seawater for that tower.
Taking drilling mud out,
yes,
and replacing it with seawater.
Yes.
Brown and others say the argument raised concerns because replacing dense mud with seawater meant less pressure to hold the oil down. Why would they want to displace it with salt water?
To make it quicker for the production well to get in once we cap the well.
That was the idea. They wanted to close off the well.
They were getting ready to go to the next well, and they were trying to, make it easier for the production crew to get in because it took so much time for us to drill this well and get it done. Drilling on the Deepwater Horizon was already 5 weeks behind schedule, according to the rig workers. And at a rough cost of $750,000 a day, that delay meant the project was more than $26 million over budget. The survivors say there was pressure to finish the drilling and begin actually pumping out the oil. You're saying this was an argument between some Transocean people and the guy from BP?
Correct. And basically he ended up saying, well, this is how it's going to be. And they started reluctantly agreeing. And
you're saying the guy from BP won the argument, basically? He basically said, well, this is how we're going to do it.
Yes, that's what I remember, yes. He basically said, well, this is how it's going to be.
Dan, do you think that too? That this was about saving time, saving money for BP, for Transocean?
Yeah. And it just bothers me that Transocean would let them, as much as Transocean preaches safety, it doesn't make sense that Transocean would just fold like that if it wasn't over money.
Attorney Steve Gordon represents all 5 survivors we interviewed. You're saying that BP was negligent, yes?
At least.
At least.
That's putting it nicely. Yeah, I would say that.
How would you put it?
Well, I've seen negligence, I've seen gross negligence, and this conduct is criminal, what they did.
Criminal?
Yeah, there's a crime scene sitting 5,000 feet below the water.
What way do you think that they are criminally negligent?
You heard my client say that BP came in and overrode the decision of the driller at Transocean. When they did that, they in essence took over on that day. And the decision that they made to displace the mud with salt water on a well that they knew had dangerous propensities, I believe is criminal.
What do you think was more important to BP or to Transocean, time and money or safety?
Time and money, honestly. I mean, they preach safety. It's like safety's only convenient for them when they need it. You're pressured and pushed to do things. And if you say, hey, because everybody has the right to call time out for safety, but you do it, you're going to get run off, You're going to get fired, and they're not going to fire you for that, but they're going to figure out a way eventually to get rid of you.
And you've seen that happen?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I have.
Even before that argument on the day of the explosion, the survivors we talked to said they had had other concerns.
There was always like an ominous feeling when we were on that well, and a lot of people were telling everybody else, on the rig, it was like chatter that, we're messing with Mother Nature right now. I mean, there's always something, either kick or we're getting stuck or we're getting large amounts of gas.
And what is a kick?
A kick is when we get an air bubble or a gas bubble coming up, or the mud and water coming up.
And that's a problem. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
The CEO of BP, Tony Hayward, he makes a big deal about the company's safety record and that safety is their number one priority. Do you believe that?
I believe he believes it.
Do you think he's wrong?
I used to believe it, but after this incident, I'm not so sure I do anymore. Not after what I've seen. They're not being safe. They're jeopardizing us all out there.
Matt, do you believe that safety is their number one concern?
All BP's worried about is money.
When you hear BP Tony Hayward say he wants his life back, what do you think?
I want my life back. I'm sure you want your life back too.
Yeah.
I'm sure, there's 11 guys out there, their wives want them back.
Yes, we all agree with that. He wants his life back. We all want our lives back. We want to be able to sleep a normal night's sleep for once. We'd like all those families out there of the 11 who don't have their husbands, their fathers, their sons. I'm sure they would want them back. But he wants his life back. What about everyone else that was on that rig that night?